All right, traditional values. Do you guys think they're coming back? I don't think so. A couple generations ago, you were really almost kind of shamed for doing anything different than the normal, white picket fence and the marriage and the kids and the stay-at-home traditional wife with the husband who worked. And now that I've talked about it before, but when you give, it's true about things in general. When you have optionality in life, you tend to not really make a decision, or you tend to explore a bunch of different options before you actually decide something. So a couple generations ago, your life was kind of predicted for you. There was a lot of peer pressure, a lot of societal pressure to get married, to have kids, to get into a relationship, into a house, start a family. And those things, the dynamics of the country at the time were much more reasonable. Like younger people could realistically buy a modest starter home and start a family at a young age, and that was the norm, and that was what was expected, really. And so now it's really just kind of gone 180. And again, you could say it's feminism, you could say it's just the internet, but now there's all these different options for people to do different things. Women can work, women can go do whatever they want, and they don't need to rely on men. And so, they're going to explore that, and they're going to delay getting married, which is probably a good thing. You don't want to get married just to the first person. If you're young and I'm sure a lot of that happened in the past where there was a lot of societal pressure to get married, so they felt like they needed to get married, and then they never really maybe dated anyone, and then obviously you end up with kind of a bad marriage. But divorce was kind of frowned upon a couple generations ago as well, so people stayed together probably longer than they should have. But now divorce is not really looked down on, and obviously more than 50% of marriages end in divorce anyway. So, it's really, like I said, it's done a 180. I think it has to do with the optionality of giving people choices. Women are going to explore working. They're going to explore traveling, different career opportunities, maybe different hobbies that they like. And they can do that all on their own. They can have a normal job, or they can do something online, or just be independent. Whereas in the past, women really couldn't be independent in the past. I mean, maybe they could, but it was very difficult. And they were really reliant on a partner, specifically a man, to provide an income. And really in exchange for that, the expectation was that there was going to be a family or kids out of it, just because that's what the society was. That's how you were viewed, as being normal and being part of the group in society. Now it's much more individualistic. I would say in general there's less of a sense of community, and more people live in apartments. There's not pride of ownership, really. If you live in an apartment, you don't really care. You don't care about, a lot of times you don't have any things to really maintain. You're just living inside your unit. And if you don't have a partner, and if you don't have kids, you're probably not gonna care as much about, I've said it before, but you're not really going to care about the public school system around you. You're not going to care about what the community is doing, really. And you're not really going to care about your neighbors, because you don't have any reason to, other than just being nice. Your kids don't play with their kids. If you don't have like a bunch of friends that are your neighbors, you're probably not going to interact with them that much. Kids gave people a reason to interact with each other, right? Because their kids are going to school. They know all these different kids. Then the parents start mingling with the other parents, and then you have kind of community out of that. Without that sense of family and different family units interacting with each other, you just have people kind of on an island, and they don't really have a reason to interact with someone unless they really want to. And a couple generations ago, there wasn't all these distractions. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't your cell phone that you could look at stuff for the whole day. and watch videos or read stuff on your phone or get the news. So people are people are entertained and basically content just kind of spending a lot of time on their phone, and there's less of a need for human interaction, I would say, than in previous generations. If you wanted to go have fun, like in the 1970s, or even really the 1980s, and probably most of the 1990s, you had to go ride your bike or go, meet people in person. There was a telephone, but there was like a landline, so you couldn't text people. You had to go in the real world and meet people. So today's generation, and partly myself included, I grew up without that stuff for the first 15 years or so of my life. You didn't have all these tools to just be able to entertain yourself and talk to people virtually. And so now younger people are growing up in a different world, so they don't have the same traditional values really, because they don't need them. They're fine getting entertainment on their phone. They're fine, being independent. They don't really want to. A lot of people maybe aren't really interested in like a relationship or a serious thing until they're maybe older, because they see all these things online and they see all these different things you can do. Go to Dubai, go to Australia, go here, work here, do this, have all these different opportunities that in the past people didn't really know about that. You really didn't have a lot of optionality if you were born in the 1950s or 60s. You pretty much did what you were told. You probably got into a relationship with someone that lived close to you because there wasn't the internet. You couldn't just meet people from different areas or different states or countries even. And, your life was much more defined. And you could say the same thing about, you could say, people today just aren't good at making decisions, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. I just think it's human nature where if you give someone basically unlimited amount of potential things they could do with their life, it makes it harder for them to commit to one thing, because they're like, oh, well, I don't know, I could do this, I could do that, I want to wait and see, I don't want to put all my eggs in this basket and blah, blah, blah. But typically it's better to just have a basic idea and then just kind of go for it, because the longer you wait, inaction is still inaction. Inaction is still action, right? It's still deciding to do nothing is still deciding. It's still deciding. You're still making a choice. You're not changing your life, or you're not doing anything different. So I don't see that changing. I really don't. I think as long as people have the internet in their phone and they see all these people living these glorious, glamorous lives online, they're gonna hold out for that and say, oh, well, maybe that'll happen to me. I don't want to go work a normal job because I might become famous, or I might win the lottery, or I might, if you're a girl, it's like, well, I might just go do OnlyFans, or I might go try to do this and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. That wasn't even possible, like even 10 or 15 years ago. There wasn't that option. But now, it's damaging really for younger people, because they're really impressionable. If they see all this stuff when they're younger, they will desire to do it. And so doing like a normal path isn't going to be enough for them. They're not going to be satisfied with just going to school and, getting a normal degree and then working like a 9-to-5 job. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to accept that in today's world, because they see all these people living like I said, a very different lifestyle, and they want to live it too. And that's just the nature of the internet, right? And doing the traditional thing like, oh, I'm going to go work for 30, 40 years and just save my money and not really have a lot of fun. Well, people don't really want to do that anymore. And for a lot of people, that's not even an option either. What companies do you have job security for 30 years or 40 years anymore? There's technology is changing so fast that there isn't a lot of places you could go and know that you're going to be there for even 20 years, unless it's like the government or some sort of government institution. But in today's world, there's a lot of uncertainty. So I think younger people, and I think it's good, a part of it's good, is that they are saying, well, I kind of have to figure this out on my own. And if I have all these aspirations to do great things, it's going to be on me. Like I can't rely on an employer or some other traditional system to get me there. And I think they're probably right. If they can be creative and find a place in the market for their ideas and sell a product or be creative, they'll get rewarded for it, and they'll do a lot better than they probably ever could at a normal company. But if you fail, then you're it's like, okay, well, now what? Now I don't have a different income, and I haven't done a normal job. So what's my choice now? So those are my thoughts on it. You guys let me know what you think. If you guys want to like the video, that's cool. You can subscribe, you can comment, and take care. See you on the next one.